Welcome, Wargamers. Join your hosts, Bonko and Monte, two Canadian wargaming enthusiasts, as we explore all aspects of tabletop wargaming. We roll dice, talk tactics, share hobby hacks, and explore new tabletop systems, all on the Trident Wargaming Podcast. Hey everybody, welcome back. We are kicking it with another episode. This is going to be all about events in the year 2022. And are events better in 2022?
Yes, they are.
I think so. I think so as well. You'll also notice, if you're watching this on YouTube, we are actually rocking out video. There's been enough people saying, like, we want to interact with you guys, we want to see who you are, we want to have more stuff happening on screen, which, no problem. Yeah, we can definitely do that. So yeah, get a good look at our mugs. You'll be staring at them, talking for a little bit here, but that'll be all right.
Man, not the prettiest thing, but we're all hobby nerds anyways, right? So.
Don't mind my super mom.
Super mom.
Yeah.
Super
right.
mom.
So,
nice.
I guess kick things off first. Hobby stuff, as usual. What's on the hobby plate? What's happening?
Oh well, finally, finished the TITANICUS project. Finally, the Legio Salaria. In good timing for this episode, and kind of the event that we'll be talking about in the episode here as well.
That's right.
So yeah, that was a task I had previously worked on them like last year and got them up to a certain point, and then started changing it up a little bit and then adding a little bit more other colors kind of thing to kind of look more towards like the actual colors in the book, right? With the white speckling and stuff like that. So very, very pleased that got that done. Another, project checked off. And other than that, right now is busting out a whole bunch of my Germans, getting them all built up for my big match with Jason, one of our guests, my battle buddy there. For our Stalingrad scenario 3, so that's coming up in a couple weeks. Yeah.
Awesome.
What about you, Mr. Bill?
Well, same as you. Titanicus. I got my force finished off. It was a push. It was a push and a half. This last the week leading up to the event, there was a lot of work that got done, and you can definitely check out the Instagram if you want to see all the little pictures of everything that was happening. Fun project, awesome. I still got a lot of Titans to go. I got 5 of the big boys left. So we'll see how that all unfolds. But I'm looking forward to it. I've got the Warlords. I've got a Warbringer, Warmaster, and I want to bust out an Iconoclast. I still have those 2 little dirty Warhounds to add to the rest of the forces. So. Got a lot of work ahead of me, but for now, I'm starting to shift my attentions over to some 40k stuff.
Nice. Yeah, I know that'll be on the docket as well in the near future. But so many projects, so many games, right? Like so many miniatures, of course. As always.
Yeah. Do you
always
play
the backlog
multiple systems? Do you have too many games with not enough time? That's basically That's basically how it is. It's I think everybody's guilty of that sometimes. So
100%. Even the guys that don't think they are.
They're probably the worst offenders.
Oh, probably
the worst. So.
Probably. No, it's funny.
jumping into the episode, I guess the meat and potatoes of it. So 2022, I don't want to jinx it, right? But COVID's slowly starting to go away. Some normalcy is coming back, which is nice. It all kind of kicked off and started for Basically, just mid January with your tank war
Pretty much, yeah.
event.
Yep.
So, do you want to tell us a little bit about some of the sweet event action?
Yeah, so Tank War event, I figured, with getting back to gaming, and why not have a fun, free event that we had at the local shop here at Red Claw Gaming. I had just created pretty much a few missions, and I think it was like 13 players. Each player had 3 tanks, and try to keep it mid-war, and everybody got a regular experience for their tanks, and they're able to get some skills. So if you know anything about tank war and bolt action, your tanks pretty much gain experience, and then you use that experience to activate skills within the game, right? So everybody was able to get 2 skill points or skills, and they were able to play around with skills, just kind of to show what tank war is, and the little bit of difference it is compared to bolt action, because it's obviously focusing on tanks, right? So but yeah, we had like 12 official people were there, and then I was able to rope in one of the onlookers who was checking it out, and there was actually quite a few people checking it out, and there was a lot of hooting and hollering that day, I'll tell you that. So it was great, because I was able to let this new player take my spot, and get him rolling some dice, and he was checking out the game and stuff and really liked it. So maybe a new player comes in. Plus, I had another new player who had just like a few weeks earlier just got their army, and it was nice because the community was able to help her out by letting her borrow a couple of the other tanks that she would have needed to jump in, right? So, when you have a community like that, that's awesome, right? But yeah, there was the three tables. It was 2-on-2, and then we switched it up. I tried to keep it, Axis and Allies kind of thing. And we had one table that was like, a bridge crossing that you would have to get control of the center of the bridge, and then you had...
It's very bridge too far kind of feel.
Yeah. Yeah, that one, from different game systems, a little different playing lengthwise like that for bolt action, right? But that small amount of units, I'm sure with a lot more units, it would have been a bit different story. And then we had a kind of a factory yard, kind of with railroads and stuff and fencing and whatnot. Most of that, my terrain, that I've been working on. That one was really fun because there's different avenues of fields of fire, stuff like that, and then just different terrain that we're used to. And then the other one was kind of a tank kind of blown up in the middle of the road of this small little European village. Kind of a Fury kind of feel to it, right? So, and almost every mission was, there was objectives that you had to take, right? So,
yeah.
But yeah, it was really good turnout. There was a lot of local players that I haven't seen in a long time come out, even during the little breaks in COVID where we were able to get to play. But there was a lot of guys who haven't been there, and they've been doing pretty good, right? So coming out and playing and having a good time. So yeah, it was a great event. For things to come, right? So
yeah, like having played in it, it was pretty sweet actually to see another side of the bolt action game. I know I've never played Tank War before, and I've only ever used the one tank usually in my reinforced platoon or in the specific platoon that I'm using. So it was cool to have 3. I was rocking, modest tanks. I had a an old school 75 mil,
Mhm.
76 mil Shermans, and then I ended up taking that M10, and M10 was a little less than desired. It packed a good punch. It was pretty sweet that way, but I know the big issue I had with that thing was basically getting bulldozer on it with my skill, and it's a tank destroyer, right? So I'm not going to be making any hardcore charges to try and take advantage of that.
No,
But, it was
that
decent overall. Overall, it was
that
good.
was my KV as well. Got that same thing.
Yeah, I
So,
remember that.
but yeah, there was some glory moments in it, right? Some long shots, a lot of hooting and hollering from some of the German players, right?
Yep.
And some really nice looking tanks. Everybody
Yeah.
pretty much had their tanks like all painted up,
Yeah, that's true.
right? And like that really makes it for great events is when people take the time and actually get stuff done up for an event, even a small one like that. Like,
Yeah.
you know, even the miniatures that were borrowed were painted. Like, you know, that's an awesome feeling, right? It's an awesome thing to see. And you know, we tried to have all the terrain painted as well. There's a couple of knickknacks here that weren't, but you know,
Minor.
3D printing some stuff last minute kind of was like, okay, you know. But yeah, no, overall it was really good, really successful for like, you know, first kind of event coming back from COVID, and then of course even at the local store, like the you know, shop owners, they had a great time just checking it out, and we're super excited and happy that it turned out really good, right? So, but yeah, like definitely more to come. We'll definitely have you know, another tank war kind of like event like that. It seems to attract a lot of the players, right? But maybe make it a full scale one this time, right? With all the gizmos and gadgets. So yeah, it was just kind of to show players, you know, what it's about, and if they have interest, and even new players, if they wanted to jump in, they could. Like, we had extra stuff to play with, right? So, and extra tables, and it was a busy day actually in the store there. It was quite busy, so it's pretty cool. No, it was pretty cool. So,
yeah,
but
all that was just the one event in mid-January.
yeah,
End of January, obviously, LVO happened. Did not happen for us.
no,
Kind of sucked. I ended up catching COVID just before, and sad times ensued. I did work on my Titanicus, though, pretty diligently, as I quarantined myself in this lovely place. And yeah, surrounded by all my goodies. And yes, kind of, I went to town over that. A little bit of planning went into just recently, that weekend that's just passed, for the TITANICUS event that we had locally here. The interesting part is same weekend as Adepticon, so you know, you could have called the Titanicus event not Adepticon, because we just weren't there, and but
yeah,
pictures were awesome to look at from the event itself. But I won't lie, you know, we were throwing some serious clout online with some of these pictures that we shared. A lot of feedback. A lot of people were really liking the Titans. I even shot some pics over to Rob Bear, who was pretty pumped to see him.
no doubt.
Heard you like Titanicus. Check this out. And he was like, oh, he's like, yeah, I like Titanicus. He's like, those pictures look great. We had 8 people in total. It was a de-escalation type event that I worked a little bit with Mike from the Mourneval events page. We kind of talked a little bit about a de-escalation of what it would be. I took some inspiration from an event that he's running. I talked with Dan a lot and Josh a little bit, bouncing some ideas back and forth with some of the mechanics. Came up with kind of a bastardized version of the event. Ran it. It was successful. It was supposed to be just non-painted, get as many people out as we could at the time, just for people to roll dice. Like, bought into Titanicus right when it came out, so 2.5 years-ish ago.
Yep.
And I've never played, and locally...
Well, both of us, right?
Well, yeah. And locally, they had a games day early on, and then that was it. We kind of we haven't had anything since. So I really wanted to try and have something that would encompass everybody in the community, and turns out, of all the 8 people that showed up, everyone was painted, which was awesome, because the prizes were actually directed towards the painting itself. Everyone was welcome, and there was a prize you could win regardless if you were painted or not, but the focus being on the hobby and trying to really grow the community this time, because it's very niche, obviously, within tabletop gaming world. It's often talked about as the best game GW makes that no one plays. So we're trying to change that and actually get more people coming out and playing. And it's just overall, it is a good system. It's fun, easy to learn, very swingy, which I think is kind of cool with some of the narrative aspects you can get. But overall, really good. I can't say enough about it. Like, there was a lot of passion that came out. The tables were looking good. Everything was themed. Mm-hmm. Everything was pretty much as good as it could be, which is nothing short of perfect. So it was pretty sweet that way.
There's a lot of engine kills.
There were a lot of yells, a lot of engine kills. Actually, Josh,
a lot of hooting.
Josh, rocking his mainstay with the Legio Griffonicus and the Ferox maniple in the beginning. He was taking names. He ended up. He was our Princeps Maximus for the day, which basically scored the most engine kills, which I think he ended at 9 overall, like, through 3 games. And each game you're dropping points, so it was kind of interesting to expand on just that a little bit. You start off at 2K, and after the first round, whatever Titans were killed, you have to pick from and drop your list by 400 points. Which sounds easy, but it's not. It's actually quite difficult, and it depends on what died. And if you were down points, you were using underdog rules. For every 50 points you were down compared to your opponent, you got an extra SP. So, turn or round 2, I was walking into my game with 200, or right down at 1500, so I was 100 less than the next guy. The guy I was playing wasn't that far, actually. What were you playing round 2, Andy, for points? Do you remember?
Ooh.
Because I know we were pretty close.
I think I had a lot. I think I was like 14 and change, something like that.
It was pretty close.
Like, I was like, you were supposed to lose so many points, and it was like, oof, gonna feel the crunch on that one, right? So, but yeah, like, when you're losing the Titans, and you gotta choose. Well, I don't want to lose my Warlord in the first early stages of the fight, and I mean, I didn't, but losing some of the little guys, the Warhounds, the mistress was not pleased.
No.
So
it was tough.
Oh yeah.
It made for a lot of fun though, because narratively we were.
Oh hell yeah.
We were playing in the Warzone Aegis, which is basically an ongoing active battle. Even fast forward into 40K, where it's continuously back and forth, and there's a lot of turmoil with the planet. So I thought it was the perfect spot to launch a first of many events with de-escalation, escalating. Round 3, I ended up rolling in with, I think, 840 points, and I was feeling the pinch at that point quite a lot. I only had 2 Titans compared to Josh, who was rocking 3, so he had me outnumbered, a little bit outgunned. It was awesome though, like the way that the stages went and dropping your points. It definitely made it feel like the battle was raging on, and you were starting to really feel it. So I really enjoyed that part, and there will be more. There will be more coming in the future for sure. So
I think one of my most enjoyable moments was that last game with Alex, and my Princeps rolled a 10 on the catastrophic the reactor or whatever, and just blew herself up, right? So it was pretty fun. Everybody, a couple of guys were watching, and it happened. It just seemed to just happen. That was it, game. But boy, was it fun, right?
Yeah.
Like just those moments in the games and the event, and it was great because like I was telling our friend Hal, like coming out and playing into an event where you're playing back-to-back games, especially in like a first event for it, kind of like a friendly event where everybody's coming out just to play. I found that it was really, really great to learn the game even more.
Yeah.
Playing it like this, because you're going back to back, so now you're starting to be a lot more familiar with your rules, a lot more familiar with the actions and what's happening, right, and the stratagems, and you start getting a feel for these different armies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like playing Dan. I think my game against Dan, the very first game I had, I think probably was my best game of the day, just because I know his Legio Volpa.
Nasty.
Very fast, nasty, hard hitting, close range, and I was able to kind of do a couple of maneuvers or whatever, and yeah, I lost some Titans, but moving around and stuff, and being able to get behind them, kind of thing, with the Warhounds, right, as it should be with Legio Solari, you're really moving that stuff around, but a lot of fun, a lot of exciting, times, and like just checking out what weapons do and different loadouts, and the maniples, and like even playing U-Bill with your some of your stratagems, right, where you I can't remember the name of it, where you block the line of sight,
Concealment
like
barrage.
really, really messed me over, kind of thing, right? And it's like, that's sneaky, right? Gotta take a look at the stuff in the stratagem, see what maybe there's something that works well for me, right? So but yeah, just overall, just an awesome day. Haven't had really, besides the tank war, but like you go for a month and a half without having an event like that.
Yeah.
You're just like, I need to play.
Well, exactly, and it was a busy weekend.
Mm-hmm.
The Titanicus event was on Saturday. On Sunday, Red Claw ended up hosting their RTT, which was full out pretty legit.
Yep.
From what I heard, it was pretty well done, just like the last one. I know locally there's a lot of games actually and events kind of kicking off. Arthur with the Edmonton Warhammer Leagues, starting to get the Garage Hammer League all set up. I believe they're going to have a dual bracket system. I think it's double elimination. And then this weekend coming up is the Fool's Errand 2-day 40k major down in Calgary at Ogre's Den Gaming. I know that's popping off. Yeah, like locally for 40k, right? And then later on, we've got some other events happening. One in June, which we'll be talking with some guests in a little bit here to talk about that in more appropriate detail, because we may as well let the boys actually tell us about their event that they're going to be doing. So so far though, 2022 is looking pretty good for gaming so far. More gaming coming down the pipe, which is always nice. I know there's always ramblings about more events, more things coming throughout the summer. So it's going to be really good. I know we've both been talking about trying to get a couple different systems hosted in events locally as well. Start trying to drum up the interest. As far as Heresy goes, that's on ice for me right now. I just want to wait and see what's going to happen. I know down in Calgary they were talking about a kind of like a 30k farewell, and kind of like, all right, we're ready for Horse Heresy 2.0, and that might be pretty legit. Norman and myself, this Saturday we have a 5k Legion Throwdown, where it's a
battle of the masses.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be probably flashbacks from Istvan for Norman. It's gonna be legit. I hope he is ready. You know, I kind of talked with him. What kind of game you want to have? How do you want to do this? He said, I want to fight the nasty. I want to bring your iron circle. I want to go at him. And I was like, done. Right? Like, I'll easily make that happen for you. And I'll drown you in power armor as well. So it should be legit game. Lots of pictures will be coming. So stay tuned for that. Trying to get as many pictures as we can for while we game. Especially if there are people out there who can't right now. So,
yeah. There's a couple leagues and whatnot taking off as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know there's the Edmonton BattleTech League.
Yes.
That's going to be popping off. They've been doing a lot of practice games, and I talked with Stephen there. I guess he's got kind of a campaign going on Thursdays, and then league practice and just pick up games. At IPG or whatever there with Jason Stevens as well.
Nice.
So yeah, they're starting and ramping that up. He's put a lot of detail into it. It'll be interesting because we're still kind of new to the BattleTech for stuff like that for campaigns and leagues. But I'm gonna go check it out and see what it's all about really, and see just kind of how he has it set up and then probably have him on a podcast here too to kind of show off to the community and whatnot. You know what he's been doing and what he's got planned, right? So
that should be pretty good.
Yeah, more exposure and just kind of rounding up the community of people because us, we're all gamers. We cross game and everything. Yep. Really. I mean, I got my freaking tentacles and everything. So
octopus for real.
Yeah.
That reminds me, even ourselves, we still have our next episode, I believe episode 2 for the Somerset Striker campaign booklet. So
next couple of weeks probably.
Yep.
Get and I think maybe for that maybe set up the camera and kind of record the game.
Ooh, back to the battle reports maybe.
Yeah, just see how that goes. I mean, BattleTech's probably easy to do. Just set up the camera on the battlefield.
Let it rip.
Let it rip.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that would be cool to have to do, and I think my mechs are all good to go, considering I had to get them painted from the previous mission. So
yeah, I've got a couple summoners left.
Nice.
But all the base colors are put on. They're pretty much ready for the final washes kind of stuff and blocking like metals. So that's
they're the palette cleanser.
Yes. Yeah, big stompy robots to like smaller scale.
Stompy robots. Yeah.
So it'll be pretty legit.
Nice.
It'll cleanse the palette there before deep 40k starts going on. I'm getting hounded by the boys to jump in. So
I'm sure I'll be there too.
I know you will be.
You'll reawaken the Tomb Worlds.
So,
the Necrons will come alive again.
Pretty legit. So.
No, but like just 2022, lots of ideas, lots of. You and me have been continuously talking, plus with some of the other guys with the other communities as well. Norman and Arthur as well, Scotty, all them at the other the leagues and whatnot. Just ideas are floating around for just creating something for events, which I know we already have kind of our ideas of what we want to do, and usually we deliver on that. And I know even myself with Bolt Action, I've had just recently one of the longtime members, asking me if there's going to be any leagues or stuff coming out, and I'm waiting for the combined arms that they're sending to me.
Yeah.
To get that, I have I have like a hex map that Leanna at the local shop was able to get me about a year and a half ago, and it's literally like D-Day landing Normandy. So might be able to actually create a ongoing kind of campaign that guys can jump into and play games, and then at the end of a certain time tally victories and losses, and okay, something to that effect, right? Yeah. But that can always go into more detail once I actually deep dive into it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, just right now to me it feels like this is the time for tabletop gaming again. Yeah. Like I remember saying this a few years back before COVID hit, that it was like, if you're a miniature tabletop gamer, hobbyist, collector, whatever you want to call it, right? This is the time. There's so many options out there, and it's still true.
Yeah.
Right? Absolutely. And so many good games, right? Just even games like, like Marvel Crisis Protocol, it's popping off hard in the local community as well. So, but yeah, getting to events, that's right now, that is like definitely getting back to that, getting people back out, and with having support with the local stores, yeah. It's been nothing but fantastic.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Not only do players want to play, the stores want to fill their tables again. Stores want to see the happy, smiling faces of gamers everywhere. So you can run through the store like a kid back in the day in a candy store. It's in a model store now, and it's everyone's got to get their fix of plastic. So.
And actually, that comment with the kid you just made just reminded me.
Go local, get your plastic.
We want you.
Right.
No, just that reminded me actually a few weeks back. Battle buddy Jason there for Bolt Action. He brought his kid in, and his son was playing some Bolt Action with us there, and knew the rules and stuff like that. Was very attuned to the game. It has been a very long time since I've seen that. A very, very long time, and it's great. So, who knows? Because I guarantee you a lot of, people that are gamers, they've probably been spending a lot of time at home with their kids over these last couple years, and they want to play, so they're probably playing with their kids, right? And this is a good time, get them some exposure to it, and have fun with it, because majority of it is fun. You know what I mean? Go out, play some games, roll some dice. It's not serious. Just play, go, right? And that's what these events will be about right off the bat. And then, of course, you're going to have all those events where you're going to have narrative, you're going to have competitive or strong, whatever you want to call it.
Match play, man. Come on.
Match play, whatever you want to call it. Theatrical, whatever. But it's going to be great. In my eyes, it's, there's going to be a lot to attend and a lot to do, and
for sure.
And hopefully we'll have other people coming out as well, coming here into the city, with events, and we'll probably go and do some road trips here and there.
That's right.
So, yeah, and of course I know there's probably a ton of events in the States as well for Bolt Action, but I couldn't name any right now.
Yeah. Well, I know they had the Cherokee Open not long ago. Lone Star Open was happening in States, and then obviously the ACO Atlantic City Open is happening. So Frontline's just marching across, right? All the states just cranking out events, which is awesome. And
of course, Adepticon, of course, right?
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of things happening, leading into next part of our actual episode here is I'd like to introduce Boys of the Golden Throne, so we can talk about a little bit of their events coming up in June and October. All right, we are joined here with AJ and John from Boys of the Golden Throne. Welcome, welcome.
Hey guys, thanks for having us.
No problem. How's it going? Pretty good?
Oh, I think
she's going
good.
pretty well.
Getting pumped with all the news that we're hearing and new additions and getting the juices flowing with new events. So yeah, things are looking up.
There's a lot of heresy arousal in the air right now.
Yes, there is.
Oh, 100%. 100%. The hype is starting to come back, and the heresy train is rolling.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's never really stopped, but it slowed
It
down.
was going really slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hit like an oversized couch that was wedged under it. It was kind of like slowly trucking along, but now the couch is falling off the side and it's going again.
I definitely have been enjoying the slow drip feed of the leaks that are slowly coming out. From what I've been reading,
it's really exciting.
Sounds awesome. So
yeah, I think it's soon become a fire hose to the face of information for all of us. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure the buzz in the local area is going pretty crazy too. Probably just like here as well.
Yeah, it definitely is. There's we've already got a pretty large for the size of the city. We've got a pretty large local community, and all those people are excited. But there's also the feeling in the air of like we know that we're going to get a large addition to our community probably in the next year or so. Nice. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
The rumors about this new box set are true. Like we're definitely going to see new people or some people that, as Heresy kind of slowed down a little bit, went back over to 40K. I think we're going to see some migration and new people coming into it. So excited for that.
For sure.
All the Heresy curious people will be jumping in, I think, if that new box set is true. Because veteran and new players alike, I think, will be jumping on that.
Oh, yeah.
And then just have to emphasize, right, like, we watched that whole thing. I think, obviously, none of us were most likely expecting this grandiose trailer that we got. And I think a lot of people maybe don't realize how big of a deal that trailer is actually going to be, because I've seen that trailer covered on mainstream video game websites and stuff, and I'm seeing exposure to Horus Heresy like I've never seen. So it's kind of wild, because it's like, I think this game is going to get a lot bigger in the next 2 or 3 years. I think it's going to become something that is probably a rival to something like Age of Sigmar. So really exciting.
Definitely going to be a mainstay now, right? It's not the Forge World, hidden game kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? I know even the night it aired, we had a big party in Discord going for our local crew, and I was actually playing Bolt Action on my Bolt Action night, and we got it on the big screen there, and like all the guys from Bolt Action were watching it, and of course I was there like a little kid, right? I'm like, hey, and there was like 2 or 3. I'm like, oh god, I got to get into this game, right? Just from that trailer. So definitely get that feeling for sure.
I never knew how badly I wanted to see an orbital lance hit a warlord titan.
Yeah.
So I just kept rewinding that like over and over again.
I love that. Yeah, I love it. It's like in you see Horus like point World Breaker at it as if to suggest that it's the orbital bombardment thing that's in the game. Like super cool.
Yeah, I was not prepared for that.
It definitely blew me away, just the cinematics in it. And at first when I was watching it, I was like, is this for a video game? Like I didn't know exactly what I was watching at the time.
I feel like I just looked at it, I knew exactly what was happening immediately, and I was still in disbelief, but I saw it. I saw Horus's cape, I saw the side of his calf, And I knew what was happening. I was like, they
anywhere.
made a trailer for Horus Heresy. This is going to be a trailer for Horus Heresy. This is nuts. And then it just continued to be like, wow, I'm blown away that you guys put the budget into this that you did.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It ended up taking me a few seconds. Like, it was as it started to go off, right? I was like, oh, it's Abaddon, right? You know, thinking, oh, it's Abaddon. And I'm like, oh, that's Horus.
Yeah, I think we had it spoiled too because there was someone in our chat who was talking to people who were at Adepticon, and apparently it aired before that.
Oh.
So we knew that Heresy was coming 5 minutes before the trailer. So that's part of it too. I forgot about that detail. So we were like, all right, Heresy's coming at the end. Yeah.
That's
Nice.
awesome. I guess keeping on with the Heresy train, so you guys are hosting some events this year, and
We are.
the first one kicking off is in June.
Yes.
Yeah.
You want to tell us a little bit about it? I know we're signed up, we're coming already, so it's cool to hear about it a bit.
Which is
So
awesome.
maybe,
We're stoked to have you guys come out for it.
yeah,
looking
it's awesome.
forward to actually meeting in the flesh. But
100%, man. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe to start, we'll just give a little brief history of like our events and stuff,
Yeah.
because I think that's maybe a preamble is a good. So me and AJ met, I don't know, probably like 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And we were both Heresy players. We pretty quickly found that we were like-minded people, and with that, we started kind of having more games locally, but we started kind of also planning game days and stuff like that, and basically started having like a local community form around that. And then we started holding events in, I think, I can't remember if it was 2016.
2017 is when
Okay, 2017.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and since then we've run events basically every year. We were running 1 or 2 events, and they started off fairly small, and they grew into something much larger. And so for the last couple of years we haven't been running anything, but those who have come to our events kind of know. Generally, the idea of our events is we treat them as like some sort of a social gathering sort of thing. And we just want it to be sort of narrative-based, fun, good, fun games with cool people on nicely painted tables. That's generally the vibe that we're trying to set. We usually have a bar at our events if we can get it, because me and AJ, we met on Beer Hammer, I guess, is kind of how you describe how we play.
That's the way to do.
Yeah. We're
Yeah.
definitely the beers and pretzels in your garage kind of gamers. So
Yep.
it kind of, there's a missing element if we can't have a couple pints while shuffling our miniatures around the table.
Just rock the pocket flask.
Yeah.
Or...
Puck flask.
Oh yeah, we've been known to not be above a pocket flask.
Nice.
Yeah, so with that sort of preamble, we've run events for, like I said, a few years now, and they've become pretty successful, and quickly picked up into being bigger than what we kind of imagined they would be, to the point where the last event that we tried to run that was unfortunately canceled by COVID, we had just a record attendance numbers within literally, we put the players pack and stuff up 6 months before the event, and it sold out within a month, and it was already doing bigger numbers than, well, I think we had 40 people for that, which is bigger than the
Awesome.
LVO that we had gone to the year before.
Yeah.
And so we've been basically, it's gotten super big, and the only thing that we're limited by now at this point is just table space and stuff like that, is what it appears.
Right.
But, so our events, we try to make really, really good events with good prize support and a good attitude, and generally just have fun. So with that said, we have 2 events that we're running this year, and we're super pumped about them. Yeah. So
Like you said, Bill, starting off in June, we've got our Adeptus Titanicus event, that is a 20-person event. We've already sold 14 tickets, so
22.
or 22. That's
22.
Right.
Yeah,
We did.
we upped it. We were like, "What can we push it one more? Yeah, we could do one more table." Yeah,
Nice.
So we're actually on this one doing things a little bit different. Usually, pretty much it's the first time we're ever doing a non traitor versus loyalist kind of themed event, and that's because we want to test out the Best Coast Pairings app. So we're gonna run that for this event and just throw it up, play a whole bunch of people that maybe we haven't played before because we're always traitors or loyalist based. So we're basically putting this like as John said, we're really about like themes. Maybe not. We always like to do a narrative of some sort of some background, but really like having really nice theme tables is always something that we strive for, and we always with our events kind of really base our missions and how we pick missions for like specific tables based on the theme of the tables. So you've got that kind of vibe working for you to set the narrative. And for this,
and then
event,
we also encourage the people who bring the stuff to be very thematically based. And in the past, like a lot of the stuff that we've the prize, then this won't be for this event, but some of the prizes we've handed out have been even attached to that to sort of encourage that theme. So yeah, sorry, AJ.
All good. So for this event, we are diving into the open war deck of cards for Titanicus.
Hell yeah!
So John and I are gonna basically over some casual beers, we'll be sitting down in the lead up to the event and kind of theme all of the tables specifically with those cards. So every table will have like the world that they're on, the deployment will be pre-chosen, the primary will be pre-chosen, and then we'll have a deck of secondary cards for each table to use for their secondaries. We'll then also put in some battlefield effect cards as well, but that will be an option for each table if the players want to use it or not, depending on if they're veteran players, or they want just like a little bit more simpler of a round. So every single table is going to have a kind of theme mission to go along with that theme table, which we're really excited to kind of run an event like that where we've every single event we try to kind of spice up the missions, whether or not it's like not necessarily everyone's playing the same mission, have something more themed for the tables, that kind of thing. Because as John said, it's more, we try to run these as a more social event. We don't take ourselves very seriously. If you've listened to the Boys of the Golden Throne, you'll know that. And we kind of, we take running our events very seriously, but it's more of like, hey, this is a social thing. Let's have fun. Let's get together and play some fun games. So that's kind of us in a nutshell. John, do you want to add anything for, I guess we could talk maybe a little bit about a prize support for that one? Or is it too soon?
Yeah, so everyone who shows up will get a door prize. And generally the way that we run our events is like, and it's going to shift this year away from like how we've done it in the past. But a lot of our events, people will kind of know we're pretty, we have pretty high standards for prizes. And usually if everyone doesn't get some form of a prize, at very least the people at the top for getting things like sportsmanship votes or best painting votes and stuff like that. We've also in the past tallied up totals, but we never go strict to like who wins and who loses. It's never about that.
Yeah.
But with the Titanicus event, we're just simplifying it all, and in the past we've really enjoyed doing the door prize thing. So the idea is just that if you show up, you're going to get something.
Your Titan is gonna walk away with a little upgrade. Everyone's walking away with something. So we're excited.
Nothing too mind blowing, but it's like I think everyone will be happy, especially newer players. They'll come away and be like, "Oh, cool! I got an option." Yeah.
Everybody likes swag, right? Like that's always nice.
Totally.
So it tends to work well. Yeah.
In terms of the the lists for the event, we're running, the main list is going to be 1,500 points. But then we are giving an option to more veteran players to, if you want to bring a 2,000 point and your opponent's cool with doing that, then you guys could play a 2,000 point list. But big caveat to that is that we're not changing the time. So you've got, your round time. If you feel confident that you can do that, then go ahead.
I believe we're going to try to aim for about 2.5 hours. We haven't written the final schedule yet. We're going to try to squeak as much time as we can, but I think it's going to be about 2.5 hours a round.
Yeah.
So yeah, you don't pick 2,000 points if you don't have a good understanding of the game, I would say. But we wanted people to have options, because people like me and AJ and some of the guys in our group, we've been playing for a long time. We have huge Legios.
Yeah.
We'd like to have the option to maybe have one game with more toys. So, yeah.
Nice.
Awesome.
And we're also going to be making the first round of the event a little bit longer. So we're looking at that one being 3 hours, just to give, Legios are a little bit rusty. People haven't been playing as many games over the last 2 years. So we're putting in that little extra buffer of time for if, people to get the wheels rolling again and get the rules rolling in their head. So we'll be doing that. And then after the event, we're going to be doing a little get together for those that want to, of just going down to a bar around kind of a couple blocks away.
Yeah, it's a brewery.
Got a brew pub there. Go for some food, enjoy some beers afterwards.
Nice.
For anyone that wants to join us. Obviously, you guys are invited to that.
Sure. Swap some war stories. And,
exactly.
Yeah, we've got a rezo for 12 people, which is kind of what I expect will probably be the how many people end up coming. I'm looking forward to it.
That'd be awesome.
So yeah, it's really awesome that we've kind of gotten to the point where now we do have people traveling. You guys are coming. We've got some of our Seattle crew coming up. Obviously, the Vancouver Island people are all descending, but yeah, it's really, that's more of what these things have become for us, is hey, a good time to meet good people and just socialize, especially for the first one back where we haven't seen people in years at this point. So really
good vibes all over, right?
Exactly.
Totally.
John, do you have anything else to add for the Titanicus event, or should we jump into
I guess all I would say is just a reminder. I guess it's on June 25th. It is in Victoria, British Columbia, at the Legion on Gorge Road. If you do have any questions, and I'll repeat this at the end, but if you have any questions about the event, or you need a link to the page or anything like that, you can email us at botgt30k@gmail.com. And we'll get back to you, and I'll try to. Generally, most of the stuff we plan through with Facebook events, but we're going to make the players a pack available to everyone, obviously. So yeah, if you message us and have any questions, we'll get back to you.
And if you're watching just on YouTube or even on through Podbean or whatever platform you're on, we'll have links for the event and to Boys of Golden Throne pages all in the description. So you just click on there and it'll get you to where you need to be as well. So
awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So for our next event, we are heading back to the Kippers Melee. So the Kippers has been an ongoing Vancouver Island event series for almost more than a decade at this point. So started off as 40K, I guess regular Warhammer before it was Age of Sigmar, bolt action, all those kind of things. And then we started to go to, they started a 30K event kind of when the first box set originally came out. That's actually where I met Teo, the other co-host of Boys of the Golden Throne. We met in line at the bar right at 11 o'clock, the first guys in. So it was we're like, okay, we can be friends. So we've gone. I guess we've done 2 previous years of then the Boys of the Golden Throne running events with Kippers, and now we're coming back for this year. And this event is in Nanaimo, BC. So for it's not actually in Victoria, so we're all traveling for this one except for Teo because he's in Nanaimo. But that is going to currently it's a 30 player event. As of right now, it is sold out, but we do have a wait list, and we are in talks with the organizers to add some additional tables. So we just had to go into our bins, make sure that we had enough tables, specifically tables up to John and my standards that we would throw down at one of our events. So we'll, if you do still want to get a ticket, please reach out to us through the email, and we'll put you on that wait list. And if a ticket becomes available, we'll
for sure.
we
did not expect it to sell out this fast, so it's weird because we're like we just did our own podcast episode where we're like, all right, me and AJ were like, okay, we're taking too long to record, we got to put these events up like now that they're being officially put up on the Kippers site. And then so the tickets went on sale, and then by the time we recorded, it's like, oh, that it's fucking sold out. Okay, so now we're hyping up this event that's already sold out.
The fastest
that
they've ever sold at their convention.
So,
we were pretty shocked, but hey, it's just
we knew it would sell out. We didn't think it would sell out in 3 days, and literally,
that's pretty good.
So we're gonna try to increase it. I mean, I shouldn't say we're going to try to. We will be increasing the number. We just don't know by how much. It'll be the maximum. I can say the very, very maximum will be 40 people. I don't know if we're going to go that high. We'll see. It may be lower. It may end up being 34. It may end up being 36.
I know we were talking about the October event there, and we should go, it'd be cool. And then by the time we actually looked, it was already sold out, and I was like, oh shit, didn't even have a chance to jump on. I was like, well, okay.
It's tough too because we run the events, but we have people that we want to be there, and it's just sometimes we've had that having that happen. We're like, shit, I really wanted so and so to come, but once we put the tickets, there's nothing I can really do about it. Once the tickets are live, they're live.
It just shows the how hungry people are to play, really, right?
Yeah, and that's with the earlier conversation with the new heresy. That's kind of the thing. We're like, holy shit! There's going to be this demand now that I don't even know how we're going to be able to satisfy. We've already got 20 people here. Yeah, exactly. We have 20 people in Victoria who play heresy that fairly actively that show that that we can name. It's I don't know what's going to happen when it starts getting really big. Yeah,
it's it all comes down to the table logistics is what it now comes down to. And I just think it must be a rock band kind of convoy for the LVO heading out to Vegas, right? Or Adepticon,
because we have tables, but we rely on citizen soldiers, right? The reason why we got into running events in the first place is because we were inspired by the Horus way of doing things, and me and AJ used to just listen to them all the time. And one day that was what as any idea that me and AJ have ever had over beers, it sparked excitement, and we started talking about, well, what if we just fucking ran? What if we just did something? What if we just ran something? But what made that possible was the understanding of we don't have to supply all the tables. We can have people within our community who can lend us tables. That's another thing we've done in the past. Where we've handed out prizes to people, people voting for the best table and stuff like that. So the other thing, I guess, what we should mention with that July event, with the October event, which is on October 25th and 26th, 2022, in Nanaimo at the Vancouver Island Convention Center, is we will be having the players pack out a lot later than normal for obvious reasons right now. Generally, in the past, we've had our players packs out 6 months in advance, and we've been really we hold ourselves to a high standards with everything when it comes to planning and having things written down and keeping having stuff available for people. But with the new edition change, we don't know when that players pack is going to come out. We have to get these new rules. We have to play it. We have to figure out exactly how we want to do it. The other thing is that this event will probably be a more streamlined version of our past events, because first off, we're just getting into running events again, and we would like to make it a little bit easier on ourselves, because we made it pretty challenging on ourselves in the past with how much stuff we're keeping track of. Yeah. But also, it's going to be a new edition, so it's a nice way to sort of refresh and be like, all right, we're going to do away with a lot of our own custom rules and stuff and see just how the game plays and functions.
Yeah.
So we'll have a players pack out, and when we have an idea of when we feel like we can reasonably build that out, we'll always make it clear when it's going to go up. We usually announce a date that the players pack goes up on, and then we put it up on that day. So yeah, it might end up being much closer to the actual event itself, though. And in regards to points, I guess I would also say, and traditionally we've done 3,000 point events for the most part. We do ZM and stuff like that sometimes, but the idea of this is that it will be frontline games, so it will be an equivalent to 3,000 points. We just have to see how that actually settles, and if the game ends up changing its average points level, if we suddenly find that everything has been increased in cost, or the game plays faster, then maybe that will go up. If it's the other way around, maybe that will go down.
Be open about it. Is like we just don't know what it can be at this point, because we know the rules are dropping, but we're pretty sure we're going to keep it to, like John said, our standard points, which was around 3,000 points, and that we'll probably it will be so fresh for everyone that we'll be just running the book missions, whatever new missions
standard.
Likely go back to, just, hey, round one, everyone's playing, hammer and anvil, whatever new mission.
Yeah, exactly. And it'll be fun because it's a good way to get data, because you're just like, oh, how did that work? How do these missions work? Because you get the feedback. And we usually put out some kind of like a, what do you call it, AJ? The things that you send out, like a sort of questionnaire about what people thought about different parts of the event.
Yeah, we usually send out like a questionnaire at the end of our event, just to get some data, like, hey, what did you like the points? What points would you do? Anything, just give us your feedback, which always goes into, structuring the next event. So,
which I think is going to be particularly valuable with this event, because we're going to be going into a new rules edition, and
definitely. We basically had the whole event from 2 years ago, planned, ready to go. All the back stuff of extra bullshit we wanted to throw in, and now it's just like,
and it was so elaborate. We had added so much.
And then wait to see, what just the standard gameplay is like for this new edition that we're going to get. And then, for our next future events, then we'll, start getting back to the more craziness, or not craziness, but just doing things a little bit differently, because we hadn't had a lot of change, especially in the last 4 years, really, of Heresy, of like Black Books coming out a lot slower. Like, we felt really obligated that we needed to step in and spice things up a bit, make things fresh, whether it was introducing extra bullshit, or doing
we had unit progression, and there was a point where we had you take a certain point, and then you get a unit added, you get a free unit, so we would hand out mechanic and robots and stuff like that. We've had relics, you find a relic somewhere and stuff like that, and we had all that stuff planned. It was going to be a culmination of it at the last event that got canceled. But so this, like AJ's saying, it's going to be a reset from that stuff, but it'll be kind of nice.
Yeah, I think it's going to be so fresh for a lot of people. I think a lot of people, if the rumors are true that we're going to get this in the summer, October is only a couple months later, so we could even be there are going to be people that are playing their first game of second edition at the event. So, really excited to just get that field data and having so many different armies there, and like, you know, what's shaken up. I'm really excited to just see the differences. Like, there's one thing reading about it, but then there's another thing of just walking around the tables and getting the data. So
and just seeing people get to, like, you know, re-fall in love with like a Legion or whatever that they haven't played forever, because it's like, you know, like I've had my Sons of Horus forever. I love my Sons of Horus. I've played them for however long it's been. The Heresy's been out since 2013 or whatever, and having something like that where you're like, oh, I get to replay this, and it's like a completely rebalanced, and I get to play 5 games over two days and really like just play the crap out of this Legion, which is always super fun when something's fresh, right? It's just great. It's good, and I feel like that's what the experience that almost everyone's going to be having, because it's all going to be fresh.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be good.
Seeing different builds, that's one thing I'm really excited for. You know, there's at a certain point you walk by tables, and like I'm always looking at paint, like just, you know, beautiful armies, just that's what draws me. But then it's like you can see a beautiful army and be like, okay, well, I've seen that build like a million times. And I hope at least that this new edition is gonna change that up. I just hope that my Alpha Legion army that I've been painting for 5 years that hasn't hit the table yet.
When you finally get to play it, and it's like, fuck, it's obsolete.
It's like, nope, sorry, this is not kosher. You need to go and paint another 2,000 points to make this work. And
that's like my White Scars too. Just got them done up for LVO, and then just haven't really played them right. So we'll see what happens when they change things up. They shake things up.
Yeah.
So
exactly. So no, we're definitely looking forward to it. But it's going to be like a 2-day event.
We should also mention our events are fully painted, because I don't know if we've actually explicitly stated that at any point.
True.
Our events are all fully painted. It's all fully painted. Very much. Like, this is, our events are not like, again, we are generally narrative. We want nice, beautiful armies on the table, and our events that's what's so cool about them, because the level of painting competition is insane. It doesn't mean that if you're someone who's not an incredible painter, you're not encouraged to come or something like that. It's just, it's very cool to see all painted armies, everything, on fully painted tables, and having like 30 of them in one space is just so cool.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a norm for the 30K community, so I don't think that's surprising anyone as well.
Look at all these college tuitions.
Or
or how many mortgages of houses here.
Exactly.
No, it's good. Sounds like, you know, like everything kind of, even though, you know, you guys have been planning stuff out for a few years, and then now it's going to, you know, change and shake things up because the new edition. I think it's really important to have those plans in motion, and like being prepped as much as you possibly can, and actually sharing that with, you know, the crowd or the audience or the player base, so that they know what they're running into, right? Because I know in the past there's been a couple of events that, you know, you're waiting on a player's pack, you're waiting on this, and nothing's happening.
That's why we're always very communicative, because we never want people to feel like, right, and we do this for fun, and we do this with, like, we don't make money off this. This is all just like, every single thing that we get for these events goes into the events. We don't get paid for it. We put a ton of work into it. So we've always got the attitude of like, we're going to set the expectations, but also just, we expect respect from the people who are attending the events as they expect a high level of quality from us and communication from us.
Yep.
So
and
it's
fully
just,
painting aspect is a lot behind that, right? Because we're setting the bar at fully painted. You know, we want to make sure that we set what that event is going to be, because we like it's some of us takes a long time to paint 3,000 points, like 5 years. But but we want to encourage new people to come on board, especially with like, you know, a new box set dropping. But obviously we can't do that this time. So we're all gonna be crossing our fingers and just like it's gonna drop and be like, okay, what can we bring? So
yeah, exactly.
this one's gonna be a little bit more shoot at the hip, and then
it's also like we don't even know what's going to be available. So you're like, oh, is it just going to be legions? We don't know yet. It's like so it's all so weird right now. It's like
That's right.
Thankfully, I think most people have at least one legion. So they're like, well, I can't play my Mechanicum. I guess I'll play my White Scars or my whatever, my legion that I haven't been playing as much or whatever the example may be. So,
and the thing too with like not knowing exactly, you know, how things are changed, I'm gonna take a guess that most people that play Horus Heresy have more than just a set amount of points, and they have extra little toys in the background to fill in the gaps, right?
Yeah, like 10K worth of stuff.
So yeah. 5K, Bill, was that it?
Well, I'm close to 10 with the Iron Warriors.
There you go, right?
All painted?
Not all painted yet. No, I'm about probably close to 6,000 points painted though.
Okay, well done. That's great.
That's awesome. Yeah, we've got guys in our group. It's like it's all ridiculous. Like I've got at this point, I think 2 10,000 point armies. AJ's got God knows how much. He's got 4 or 5 armies now that are all probably 5,000-6,000 points at least.
Yeah,
we've got a guy in our group who literally has just collected like half of the legions at this point, I think, and it's just it's crazy how much people actually own. And I know that everyone doesn't, but it's
we have to think about the people that don't have that though. That's always I sometimes forget about how crazy our local group is and how we've had a lot of people painting or being players of Horus Heresy since the beginning, or at least since Betrayal at Calthrop. So there's some of us that are well endowed when it comes to painted model quantities, but it's trying to grab those new people in, fresh blood. Here's where
which these events are great for, right? Like they really are, because they get people to paint, and that's what we've been told so many times, and that's what got me. Literally, our own events are what got me to start painting my armies fully. So it's like, it's the best way to get people to paint their armies, and it's a great way for newer people to be like, okay, I have a goal. My goal is 3,000 points. I'm going to get this painted by this date. I show up, it's painted, it feels amazing. Now I have this goal completed. I know I can do that next time. What am I going to add next time to try it, you know?
Yeah.
Just there's something to be said, I think, when you have fully painted events and you're putting your army down on the table, and across from you can see someone who's put in just as much work as you have to lay that army down, and it just takes that immersion all the way, and then you can look across like all the tables and everyone's painted. It just painted plays better.
Totally.
I honestly think
and then even just having everyone set their armies up at lunch, like I usually will do armies on parade.
Yeah.
And that's just so awesome, because you get to people to walk, you know, get to look at these armies, and you get people who get to say all these nice things to other people about how well they painted their armies and stuff. And then you get the, you know, aggressive like heresy boner that you eventually will get walking through these things where you get to see this one army. They're like, holy shit, that is like the coolest thing. Like, yeah, and that's at our events. It's like, it's always like that. We have so many people who just have these like beautiful armies. There's so much weight and thought and like narrative in the whole thing. You're just looking at all the little details. You're like, oh, I love this.
Yeah.
And like, that's, to me, that's the best part about these events, is just seeing that kind of stuff, seeing these gorgeous armies set up, and just walking around when you're done your game or whatever, and just going to see all these like really cool battles that are happening, and checking in to see how people are doing. And yeah, it's cool.
And everybody goes for that extra mile, right?
Yeah.
So it's definitely to be said for the Horus Heresy community and players and hobbyists and whatnot, is they tend to go that extra mile. And your mind just is blowing after a day of events, and you're like, man, did you see that Thousand Suns army? Right?
Yeah.
And the guys put some
Always
wicked
the
conversion
Thousand
into
Suns
it.
army.
It's a wicked conversion. The paint job's awesome, and and it's just everything's jiving, and then the next thing you know, it's like, oh man, he made a display board too. Like, damn,
Yeah, and they see that like LVO was a great example of that because he was like, it's not the biggest Heresy event, but I remember when we went there and it was like some of the armies there were like, holy shit, like whole display boards, like, yeah, super cool.
Yeah, and I think like with the amount of people, the time that people put into these armies in general with Heresy, that like drives us to want to get those themed tables that are well put together as well, because it's like you're not going to come to our event and have like some city terrain on a grass mat. Like that's not happening.
Yeah.
It's all gonna flow together, and it's amazing how much that also adds to even just displaying them for armies on parade. It's just like, oh wow, this is really together.
And it's cool because you see people go find the table that fits their army. A lot of times it's the citizen soldiers, right? They've themed their table around their army, so it's really cool. They get to set it up, and it's like everyone's taking pictures of everything, and
and it's always fun to watch especially at the convention type events that we do, of the curious Age of Sigmar player or 40K player coming over, like, oh, it's like going on over here. This looks cool.
Yeah.
Like, you guys have themed tables. Like, look at the painting.
This is the thing with our events too. It's like with Kippers, it's great because like AJ's saying, it is like this it's a large gaming floor, much like LVO, much smaller scale, but like there's the 30K in this section, Age of Sigmar in this section, the 40K in this section, and whatever else. But
card games, board games, like all that.
Yeah, exactly. But we always get a ton of attention in the 30K side because not only is it like gorgeous painting and like really nice tables and stuff, it's also like everyone on our side is always having the most fun. We're all drinking beers. Like there's me and AJ walking around in obnoxiously short shorts that are like this thing that we do that is an homage to the Aya Horus podcast of dressing up as stereotypical Australians with mullets and short shorts at our events.
Regalia,
stuff like that. Regalia. It's just all stupid, and we try not to take any of it too seriously, and it's just all about having fun. So, yeah, I really like anyone who's like on the fence about it or whatever. I know I'm biased, but they're pretty fun. They're pretty cool. We have so many people who are like 40K players locally who are like they just want any excuse to hop over to Heresy because they want to come to our events, and we see the same people at these like Kippers every time we're there, and they're like, God, this looks so fun over here.
Well, that time is coming. That time is coming now.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Next few months are going to be very exciting. So it's really awesome that all of our restrictions are starting to lift, and we can actually get excited and start planning events again, and like. And maybe Adepticon next year is going to be a thing. It's going to be a thing, right, John?
It's going to be a thing, and it's going to be dudes looking for dudes, and there's going to be, hopefully COVID is done so we can start kissing other dudes on the lips, Heresy style.
Oh my.
That's the way it's always,
Nice. Aggressive Heresy action.
Aggressive Heresy action. And women, like if you're into Heresy and you're a woman, no, like, to be clear, that's cool too.
We won't run away from that, but
no, we want some of that too.
As John said.
Awesome. Well,
we might have scared people away. I don't know if we just help.
No, it's okay. It'll be fun. So, well, thank you so much for jumping on and talking with us about your events and letting us take.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
It's awesome. We definitely should do this again.
I would
definitely
like to get on there. I know I've been trying to track down some more concrete links with all the Heresy stuff that's been coming out, and my grand plan has been trying to get people who play said legions to go through the leaked updates of what's happening to them and then do a comparable. So we might be able to get something cooking on the side for that, and just chat heresy and updates and what's happening to our legions, and go from there.
Just have a big war council.
Yeah. Even if it's like when the rules came out and just discussing that, I'm always down for that. I love talking about my Sons of Horus and my Cybernetica. So
John's just gonna be like just be so excited and won't be able to stop talking the first time we record after that thing drops. Like, and this changed, and I'm so excited about this. Fuck, it's cool. It's still cool because it's new. And let's do this.
That's the way, man. That's the way to do it. It's capturing that energy and that passion, though. That's what I want to do. I want to definitely jump on that.
Yeah,
exactly.
So
entertaining, fun, and just tons and tons of excitement around the board, right? Yeah. So I know the boys here, our group, the Four Horsemen, have been going. That messenger group has just been popping off every day,
going crazy. Yeah. You get like 5 new pictures, and you're like, "Holy crap! Did you hear you could assault at a deep strike now?" Like stuff like that. Like
wild. Exactly.
The Four Horsemen, though, that's awesome. You guys need like fucking matching bowling jackets or something like that.
We have jerseys. We've got
that's
the
awesome.
jerseys for our local heresy group, actually. Yeah.
Awesome. We better see those when you guys are down.
We'll get Titanicus bomber jackets or something like that. You know? Put a patch on every year, you know.
That's right.
Yeah. I like that.
So,
right on, guys. All right. Well, thanks for having us on.
Thanks a lot.
No, you're welcome. Thanks for joining.
All right.
Yeah, it was awesome. Thanks, guys.